I know you've been crying about this one and saying that you are doing this one at this time. So we'll look at this extractions from the Eastern Cape, Eastern Cape, this one. Um, it was 3.3, right? So you are required to follow it. Oh, read the flow diagram below and answer the questions. So, okay, with the, I know you call it the spider. Spider, no, no, why you like spiders? But from the flow diagram, the input values are the X and then the outcome here, right, which is the output. So to find A, which is the first one, to find A, you need to do substitution, right? So this is the formula. So for me to find A, I need to substitute the value of X, which is -2, in the formula. So I'm going to say A is going to be equal to 1/2. Then I'm placing the corresponding value, right? Uh, which is equal to, this is -1 plus 2, which is going to give me a +1. That's the value of A. And then to find the B, B is X, right? I know the corresponding value, which is Y. So I'm going to substitute. I'm going to substitute because of this thing, it's defined by 1/2x plus 2. It is going to be equal to the Y value, which is 4, right? Because the formula is equal to, so Y is equals to 1/2x plus 2. So if I'm looking for X, I substitute Y. If I'm looking for Y, I substitute X. So here I substituted Y, which is from this value here. Now, getting to the solution, I have 1/2 being equal to, right? This is what I do. For me to solve for X, I need to subtract 2 both sides, right? So I want to eliminate that 2. So I'm going to have 1/2x being equal to 2. Then when I want to eliminate the 2, because it's at the denominator, bear in mind this thing here. There's plenty of ways that are confusing people. This is the same as this thing. X into, it's the same as 1/2x. These are the same thing. So for me to cancel this, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So this 2 eliminates that 2. So I'm going to have x being equal to 4. Right? So which is equal to b. Right? So remember with fractions, right? Remember if you have something like this, x, I want to explain something because you guys make errors. Let's say you have x is equal to, okay, 2x is equal to 4. We can divide by 2 here to eliminate those 2. So the answer of x is going to be equal to 2. But do not say divided by 2, and say this and this. This is totally incorrect. Do not do the thing because of the addition sign here, right? As well as also negative. You do not cancel if there's a corrective. And here again, there's another error you do. You're saying 2 plus x is equal to 8. You're saying that this is 2x equal to 8. Never. Right? This thing means illusion. It's illusion bako. Yeah, just know that when you do that thing, now going to the next questions, right? So those are the errors you need to avoid. Going to the next question, you are given a table now. So use the table below to answer the questions that follow. This is the table. These are the x values, right? -3, -2, -1, and 0. Then you have q. Then you have -10. They are the corresponding. So this is also similar to a flow chart. So what it actually means is that I can have something like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's up. Let me draw something that's makes sense. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the x values are here, the y values are this side. So I have -3, -2, -1, then 0. We can have q here. Then I have what's going what goes with -3, it's -10. -10, then -7, then -4, then a -1, and then q goes with the 8. Right, then I don't know the formula. I don't know the formula. Right, but I know that it is y is equal to mx plus c. Right, so it's a similar thing from the previous question. Good. So getting to answer this, your first question was find the rule in the form y is equal to mx plus y equal to something. But I know for sure one thing is that y is equal to mx plus c or ax plus q. So these are the things you need to know for finding the formula. Finding the equation of formula. So you need to know two things. You need to know the gradient. You also need to know intercepts. Specifically the y-intercept. Because of the formula, it is y is equal to fx plus c, right? Other textbooks or like authors prefer saying ax plus q, but then it's the same thing, right? The a stands for m, the c stands for q. So the gradient is m, right? The y-intercept is c, right? So how do I get the gradient? The gradient has a formula. Gradient is equal to changing y over changing x, right? So which means that y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. There has to be a correlation to these two. With the intercept, right, the y-intercept, that is where x is equal to 0. That is where, so in my formula, I substitute x as 0, then I solve the equation. So I'm going to show you how you answer these questions. So finding the rule, right? So for 3.4.1, right, I know y is equal to mx plus c. So I'll start with the easiest, will be c. C, that is where x is the y-intercept, right? Where x is equal to 0. So I'm going to look at this here. So these are the values of x. So x is equal to 0. Where x is equal to 0, that is c. So c is equal to -1, right? Because it's the y-intercept. X is equal to 0. That's why c is equal to -1. And then n is the gradient. I can find the gradient. Gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So my y2 is -7, -7 minus y1, which is -10. negative 10 all over the corresponding value for negative 7 is negative 2, then minus negative 3. So my answer here is going to be equal to, so negative times negative is a positive. So the answer is going to be the positive 3, then all over negative times negative is positive. So I have a positive 1, which gives me a positive 3. That's M. I have C. So I just substitute. It's going to be equal to 3, which is mx, then minus 1, which is c. Then to get the value of q, q is x, right? So, and the y value here is that for this point, I have q, then I have 8. So those are the points. So in the place of y, I place 8. Then in the place of x, I'm going to place q, then minus 1. So I'm going to subtract, add both sides 1, because I want to eliminate this 1. So I'm going to have 9 is equal to 3q. So when I divide by 3, the value of q is going to give me 3. Then I'm going to go to verse 3.5. 3.5, you're given an equation. There's an equation, right? So for you to find the x-intercept, you may always remember this: x-intercept y is equal to 0, right? So let's just recap quickly on intercepts. So going to intercepts, right? So from the graph, that's a Cartesian plane there. X-axis and the y-axis, right? So let's say I have a graph, right? This will be the function. So there are points that are very crucial. So on this line here, the value of x is always 0. So on this side, the value of y is equal to 0, because on this point here, it's 0 is to 0, right? The point of origin. Point of origin. And then, now looking at this point here, the value of x is 0. Then we have y. We don't know y. But what we know is that this is the y-intercept, right? Point where the graph cuts the y-axis. And x is equal to 0. Always remember that. And then when I look at this point here, this one here, that's where the x-axis is being cut. So this is the x-intercept, right? What is the x-intercept? Point. Remember that is a point because you have x and then you have 0, which is y. So point where the graph cuts the x-axis and y is equal to 0, right? So those are the intercepts. So let us say we will return something like this, right? And then they say this point is -5, right? Not x, y, then x. What does that mean? Y is equals to mx plus c. So in the place of C, you have the y-intercept. So y is equals to x minus 5. Right? Those are the intercepts. Those are the intercepts. Now, getting back to the equation, right? Getting back to the equations, right? X-intercept y is equal to 0, right? So where I see x, where I see y, I'm going to put 0. So y is equal to negative x plus 3. So this is 0 is equals to negative x plus 3, right? So I subtract 3 at both sides. So negative 3 is going to be equal to negative x. Divide by negative 1 to eliminate the negative. So therefore, x is equal to positive 3. Because negative times negative is a positive. And then the last question, draw the graph showing all intercepts of the axis. We're given an mixture. So when it comes to drawing the graph, show the intercepts. I know my intercepts. I know that C, right? So going to 3.5, 3.5.2, 3.5.2, right? The equation is y is equals to negative x plus 3. What do I know? I know that this is the y-intercept, right? So the y-intercept is 3. Gonna have a point here, right? 0 is to 3. Remember, x is equal to 0 at the y-intercept. And then I have a positive 3. So x-intercept, it's 3 is to 0. I have another x-intercept. So where the graph cuts the x's, it's 3 is to 0, right? Then I have straight line. So as far as here's my function d. So this is equal to y is equal to negative x plus 3. So that is the full marks.